welcome to another episode of Outlaw Radio, Hump Day Edition. What it do? What it do? It's your man, 50 Grand Kevin Barnes, the mouthpiece of the movement, the militant with a microphone, aka the Negro Whisperer, and I'm here to make it do what it do tonight. Outlaw Radio, one nation, one nation. In the words of George Clinton, one nation under a groove. I'm not alone. I got my co-host with me, the juice connoisseur, Miss Courtney. You ain't been with us for a minute. What's popping with you?
I know, y'all. It's me, the juice connoisseur, not a talker but a doer. But yeah, I'm happy to be back. I've just been, I don't know, life, busyness, life.
We totally understand that. We totally understand that. I always used to say life is what happened when you look back. I'm gonna let you figure that one out for yourself. What's going on with you? What's new? What's popping?
Nothing much. I've been really focusing on this move. So,
Okay.
as far as my business and podcasting, I haven't done much because I've been focusing on moving. And I think after I get in this new space, then I have a whole bunch of new stuff. I'm trying to cook up new things. I'm trying to put out new products, new everything. So I'm excited, just waiting to move so I can get this new energy in this new space.
That's what's up. And if you are just tuning in, and you don't know what this is, it's Outlaw Radio, which is what we do Mondays and Wednesdays. On Tuesdays, I do the Big Black Sports Show. So if you've been fortunate enough to catch that, it's just a real street, gritty, grimy sports show. It ain't ESPN, it's WeSPN. It's black. It's all black. It's made for black people, by black people, directed towards black people. So tune in, my boy, me and myself and my man, Larry Purdue. We get it in, man. Have a good time. And men love talking about sports. And I like to talk about sports the way we talk about them in the barbershop. So no faking, none of that. It's just the real, right? So make sure you check us out on that. And then make sure you follow us up because now we have a full schedule. Let me fix this. It's this old man with a bunch of electronic devices, right? You gotta know how to work. So now we're on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. So it's 3 days in a row. So support the People's Network, man, and let us know how you feel about, we're trying to do things for us. This is part of the reason why I call the show One Nation, because I think it's very important that we start to do things for us. We're not waiting on a bus that's never coming. We're gonna make sure we do what we do for us. And I don't want them to be able to define what success is or what it should look like. And I also want black people to be informed about what's going on in the community and to make informed decisions. We always say on Outlaw Radio, we're not trying to tell you what to think. We just want to give you all the information so you can think. So we're going to get that in tonight. Shout out to Stephanie Bowles. I haven't seen you around in a long time, sis. She said the Tom Barry run off with the money. Hey, we got a lot of stuff to discuss tonight. So we're definitely going to get into that. The state of things in the city of Milwaukee. I do want to start out by saying rest in peace. And I know every week I'm doing this, but rest in peace. I was a football coach for 12 years, and a lot of these youngsters I coached from about 2009 till about 2017. And a lot of the youngsters that I coach, they're grown men now, and they're losing their lives. And so we just lost another one, Mike Jones Jr. We call him Mo. And from what I understand, the brother was, trying to do his thing with the rap music and really, really talented. I heard some of the music he was making, but it's one of those things where I had a relationship with Mo, some good conversations, a good kid, man, a good kid. And he was murdered last night. And we are losing too many youngsters, man. We're losing too many youngsters to the streets and to violence. And I want to put an end to it. So we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about the violence and some of the initiatives that the city are putting forward. But I want to say rest in peace and give a prayer and some condolences to the family of young Mo, man, young Mike Jones Jr. Good kid, man. I've done this in the past 2 months. I've lost 3 of my former players to the streets and to the violence of Milwaukee. We got to do something about this violence, y'all. Enough is enough is enough is enough, right? So let's give about 5 seconds of silence for that brother Mo. Good football player, man. One last applause for you, Mo. I know you love the moment, you love the battles, man, and God bless your family, man. And if you lost anybody out there, I'm sure you can sympathize with what happened. and how this family probably feels. So, man, rest in peace, man. Um, Shout out to you if you're tuning into the show. Listen, we've been getting a lot of support, and I really appreciate it. We got some people who regularly tune in to Outlaw Radio and support our platform. Shout out to Miss Beverly Williams. We had a big show Monday. She came on and talked about some of the things that's going on with MPS, exposing what's going on with MPS. She has a lot of whistleblower information, and she was putting people on blast, man. So at Miss Bev, I thank you for coming. And I know she normally doesn't do the whole camera thing, but she was willing to come in on Outlaw Radio. Courtney, you would have enjoyed the show. It was a great show. Of course, you can go back and watch it. All the shows are archived on my page and then the People's News
Yes.
Network. It's a great show.
Yes.
So I want to shout out to everybody that supports me, man. I really, really, really appreciate it. I do this for a cause, not an applause, but it is good when people acknowledge our efforts, because I always say it's a labor of love, but it's damn sure a labor, because it takes a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of investment. So if you out there and you want to do a podcast, or you thinking I could do that shit he do, hell, I can get on there and talk too. Just know it ain't as easy as just throwing a rock, right? It's you really got to get down. And this is my 7th year doing this. So, a heavy investment on my pocket and my brain. Trust and believe. What's going on with you, Courtney? You got somebody you want to shout out? Let me bring this brother.
Yeah. First, I want to talk about your wordage and the way you talk. It's like it's a little bit of a if person didn't know, it's like you could be a preacher, or you could be a pimp. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's either or. I don't know which one you could be, but it always sounds good. So it's like whichever one it is. How about I just give them this $20 in my pocket? Don't know which one, but here you go. So
we got a cash app at the bottom of the screen.
I want to give a shout out to my cousin. I don't know her name, but she just got engaged to Fred Van Vliet.
Oh,
hey, look, don't. That's crazy. You don't even be knowing these cousins, but you see another cousin posted like, oh, we in there. So the whole family feel like we in there. We like, go, cuz, congratulations.
That's
don't even know, but
got that
congrats
NBA
cuz
money.
getting engaged though.
Man, got that NBA money. That's gonna be one hell of a family reunion. We got the brother Kamar. He just tuned in. Let me see. I don't want you to be paused, my brother. Let me make sure I get you tight. Can you hear me, Kamar?
Hey,
What's
Kamar.
going on, man? We can't hear you, Kamar.
Yeah, I can hear y'all, man. It was just kind of loud, so that's why I had my microphone on mute. How y'all doing?
We're good. Sound like you on vacation. What's popping?
At Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh my God!
That's dedication right there. See, like Kamar, I be in the world, and I'm like, man, I ain't finna log on where I'm at. See, Kamar, he gonna log on.
Say what?
You got a lot of background going on. We can't hardly hear you.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. Yeah, it's a lot going on. I thought.
I think we losing Kamar. We losing him. But yeah, y'all welcome to the show. Kamar, he's obviously out. Kamar, if you with your babies, let me know. Don't waste, enjoy time, man. Don't blow it trying to be on Outlaw Radio. If you with your babies, man. And I
man, hey, I ain't want you to be alone, but I see Courtney holding it down too.
I made it.
All good.
But it's clip. My reception is bad in here too.
Right. Well, man, go on and enjoy your night, man. Enjoy them babies, man. We'll talk.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Have a great night, Kamar.
Definitely.
Yes, sir. Make sure y'all hit up Kamar if y'all want to get in touch with Nature's and the Herbs and Supplements, man. Got a lot going on with the sea moss and all that, which is big business right now. And those natural remedies and those holistic medicines and all that kind of stuff, a lot of people are jumping on that. So make sure you holler at that man. Shout out to Jesse Paris. He said my lady seduction doll loves when Kev talks that Southern talk. That is crazy right there. Shout out to Dre Day.
Here got $20 right here. Here you go.
My wife gonna be in here with a razor in a minute trying to cut me. They like your voice, huh? Shout out to my wife, right? Shout out to Miss Tashila Barnes, right? I want her to make sure I'm acknowledging her in the process, right?
That's right.
But hey, shout out to Dre Day too, who's also a staunch supporter of Outlaw Radio. We always appreciate Dre Day, because Dre Day is a contributor and has been rocking with us for some years now. And that's the one thing about this show is there's some people who've been rocking with me for some years. I got to say, like, 2-3 years they've been riding with, and the show's been through a lot of changes. But I want to get into it. I want to get into Outlaw Radio, One Nation. What did I
Crack
mean?
pipe sack, Kev.
Oh Lord, you got to ask Joe Biden, which he said is not true. It's not true. It's not true. So that's one of my talking points. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna cover that. Because I seen that and I had to put it down. I had to make it something that I was gonna talk about. But I wanted to talk about the concept of one nation because I truly believe in solidarity. And I don't know if you all know what solidarity mean. For those of you who may not know, solidarity is just unity. And I think right now the writing's on the wall. In case even if you can't read, is hieroglyphics. It is time for Black people to get solidarity. And when I say that, what I mean is I mean unity. Now, I don't look at unity like a lot of other people may look at unity, because I don't think we'll all ever agree on everything. And I don't think it's all about kumbaya and holding hands and we all have to agree. But I think there's a big picture here. I think we all can agree that we need some sort of liberation. I think we all can agree that in our country right now, Black people are excluded from damn near everything. We don't get a fair shake. And I've been observing this NFL thing, and we've been talking about the NFL thing, and we're complaining about we don't have this and we don't have that. Well, I think what we need to do is get together and get our own. I seen the latest news of Byron Allen, and if you don't know who Byron Allen is a very rich brother who actually made news a couple years ago because he owns cable TV stations. He owns actually the Weather Channel, just in case you don't know. And a lot of people don't know that Byron Allen is a brother who started out as a stand-up comedian. I'm old enough to remember when he started, which was a long time ago, but he started a production company, and this company blew up. So right now he has a net worth of $400 million. I said $400 million. Now the expected value of the Denver Broncos is $4 billion. It's $4 billion. So he would obviously need to be able to secure some financing or get an investment group in order to purchase the team. But I sat down and I came up with a list, okay? Because once again, I'm about us doing for us. I'm about Black people doing what they need to do for themselves, and we need to stop being dependent. I call it, or I always say, let's get off the tit of the oppressor, right? Like, I don't understand how we expect someone who's had their foot on our necks for the better part of 400 years to all of a sudden say, you know what, y'all ain't that bad. I'm gonna start looking out for y'all. I'm sorry, niggers, right? In the words of Joe Rogan, right? So, but I made this list, right? So I said Tyler Perry, right? Very, very rich. I said Puffy, very, very rich. We're talking about billionaires, if not 100 millionaires. Jay-Z and Beyonce. If you're gonna talk about Jay-Z, you gotta talk about Beyonce, right? Billions. Jay Prince just bought a couple islands. Was on there talking about, I just bought an island. I got a couple islands. All right. And he started Rap a Lot Records, which the Ghetto Boy, Scarface. I don't know if you're as old as me and you remember that. Magic Johnson, who's a billionaire. That is one hell of an investment group that can get together and purchase the Denver Broncos. What's the hesitation? Why haven't we done this? And I just kind of feel like this is probably one of those situations where they can't get along or they can't make those terms work. And I don't understand why, because this is business and this is something that we need. It's like our own television networks, our own promotion companies, our own record labels. Have you not noticed that every other race in this country has their own? Okay. Live down the street from a school, and I started teaching school in 2000, right? This is when I was young, just out of college. My first real job was as an MPS special ed teacher. The first school I taught at was Morris Middle School. It was right here on 84th in Hampton. You know what it is now? It's the Hmong American Leadership Academy. Okay. And it's their own school where they teach their own culture, they teach their own norms, and they educate their children from kindergarten to 12th grade, right? And this is right in the middle of a community full of black people, full of Latinos. It's actually a pretty diverse community, and I don't want to give you my address, have y'all ass outside my house, but it's actually a very diverse community, but they have their own and nobody complains about it. Right across the street is Pacific Paradise. This is a Mung grocery store where they can go get all the ingredients for their traditional foods, all of that stuff, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, well, when black people unite and try to do something like this, it becomes an issue. It's a problem. Everybody kicks up dust about it because when you pro-black, that means you're anti-American, right? Right. So, but I say, in the face of all this, let's do it anyways. Let's do it anyways and see what we can make happen. I got Ewok the greatest calling in early. What's going on with you, Ewok?
Hey, what's going on, Kev?
Can you hear him, Courtney?
Yeah.
Okay, what's going on, brother?
Hey, how you doing, Cor? Hey,
well.
man, let me tell you, man, this is it's like a little club. There's only 32 people who could be involved in this club at the same time. So
okay,
even the ex-president couldn't even buy the Buffalo Bills and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because they knew he was a con man. See, rich people know who rich people are.
Okay.
They didn't want Donald Trump to be part of their club. You know what I'm saying? Because they know dust. He was dusty. You know what I'm saying? Everybody look at Donald Trump from the outside, look at him like, he got money, he got money, he got money. Man, this is a different type of club. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about the NFL?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm talking about the NFL. There's only 32 teams, man, and, you know, they didn't want Donald Trump to own the Buffalo Bills. They didn't care how many loans he can get from overseas or whatever, whatnot. They didn't even want his money. So it's still a hurdle. You know, they're going to bring up something. They'll raise the price on the team, whatever they got to do to keep who they want from being part of that club.
Well, Ernest, you know what I would say about Donald Trump is one of the reasons they didn't want Trump involved was what he did with the USFL back in the 80s, because he ruined the USFL. And the USFL had gotten pretty profitable, and they was making their way. And Trump actually undermined the success of the USFL and basically sold out because he was hoping he could become part of the NFL. So that's part of the reason why they didn't want him to be involved. But you're right; it's an exclusive club. It's some rich white dudes who I call it the Billionaire Boys Club, and they own people basically. They even have their own slave auction because the NFL draft combine is testing body fat and intellect and IQ and all this kind of stuff. And the NFL security is full of ex-federal agents, and they go deep into who you are, where you come from, give you psyche evals and stuff like that. So yeah, this is a club that needs to be infiltrated and broken up. So I say with what's going on, Byron Allen should be allowed to put together an investment group. But I think, like I said, I think he needs to assemble a group of black billionaires and millionaires to come with that power to say, nah, money ain't no thing. We got the bread. So if y'all don't let us in, it's because we're black, because you don't want a black owner. And you don't.
He already sued for that, man.
Well,
and you know what?
He sued for the television thing. He didn't sue the NFL.
Right.
He didn't sue.
No, not the NFL, but he sued for the television thing, man. But you know, they sat down and they got all that money together. It was like, this man is so powerful, man, and he got his rights and he understands what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And man, anytime they gonna figure out a way.
That's right.
They gonna prolong it until they figure out a way to not give you the shit. We still waiting on our damn 40 acres of the mule. Now, we ask for that shit right now with interest and shit. America owes us all their money. We ain't finna get shit. Ain't no reparations coming, buddy. Because if we get that, we want interest on it too. For how long? You know what I'm saying? We ain't getting nothing. They owe us that plus the interest because, you know, generational wealth, they can't afford to give us that money, man. We own the whole damn United States of America and Canada too.
Well, I've always said that there's a such thing as equity, and I believe black people have some deep equity in the United States of America, and it doesn't have to come in the form of cash payouts. There's a million different ways that you can structure reparations. You could do it with credit forgiveness. You could do it with financing for homes. A lot of us are income deprived. If you can pay $1,000,
I understand your philosophy, Kevin. I don't mean to cut you off.
You did,
I understand your philosophy because they shouldn't give nobody no. I mean, I understand because, you know, money in wrong hands. A fool and his money will soon be departed. But you know what? Let me make that decision, goddammit. Give me my motherfucking money and let me fuck it up and shit. And hell, it ain't gonna do nothing but make the economy better. The economy goes on people's pretty buddy anyway.
Well, you know what
So
they
the
say.
point is,
We can't wait to give it back to them once they give it to us. So it'll be people
no
with
doubt.
Lamborghinis, because they'll be broke next year with a Lamborghini sitting behind your house because you can't afford the tune-up, which is $2,000. So
Exactly.
Another point I was trying to make was they ain't make nobody else wait for no money or try to explain to them, hey, well, this is what you should do with your money once we give it to you. We always want to say, well, no, we'll settle for this and we'll settle. Man, ain't you tired of settling and shit and saying, well, let's put it into a community and let's put it into a black bank and then let's see what happens. How
you
they
know,
gonna lounge out something? They gonna lounge out our money. They didn't lounge it out to the people as Holocaust survivors. They didn't lounge it out to the Japanese people after they blowed up Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They didn't lounge it out to everybody else that they went over there and fucked up. They gave it to them. You know
I
what I'm
don't I
saying?
don't think
They
they gave
gave
them
it to
checks
them.
though, Ewok. I don't think they wrote everybody a check. I know even with Native Americans, with the way they structure the casinos and whatnot, it's structured. The Jewish people, it's all structured. People don't really get the Indians get checks. Shouldn't say Indians. I should say Native Americans,
Native Americans.
right? Indigenous people. They get checks to be part of the tribe, but it's generated via the casinos. So it's got to be a structured way to do it. Now, I agree with you. If you are an individual who says, "No, fuck that, give me my money, give me my
Give me
cash,"
my damn money. Don't worry about what I
right?
do with it.
My
Then
money,
do
I
it.
want it now.
Do that, right. You have a cash settlement, right?
Want it now.
Right. What I'd say for me though, give me the credit forgiveness. Give me access to low interest loans so I can start businesses and invest. Let my kids get college educations for free. Give me all that stuff because I'll take that and make it into money. I'll take it and make it into cash. I'm like anybody else. You give me all that money right now. I can't. I won't be responsible for some of the shit I buy. You see me walking down the street with a pit covered in gold and diamonds, and it's my dog, right? Like,
I can dig what you're saying, but that's gonna take generational growth. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take a long time, but it's something. It is something, but it's gonna take like about 2, 3 generations to
I tell you what.
succeed for what you're talking about. But it's better than nothing. I don't want just better than nothing. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you what.
Damn that.
We can reserve this argument for the day that they announce that we getting it. Because right now we arguing about it before we even get it. So when they say, you know what, we finally gonna give y'all this shit, then we can get into this argument and you can call in the Outlaw Radio and say, God damn it, give me a check. And I can say, wait a minute, I want mine structured. Right now, it ain't even no argument to be had. Right now, we need to put all of our energy into making sure we're going to get it. That's what I say.
Exactly. I
That's what I
get
say.
that. You know what I'm saying? And I do believe in what you believe in. Let's have these programs. Let's have somebody to sit down. Then, and don't get there once they actually try to give us something. Don't get there and argue and fight, fuss about the money. Somebody that's going to be there to have the stuff the way it's supposed to be. We want a black bank. We want, you know what I'm saying, our own way of doing things. We want to police ourselves. We want all this to be part of all of that, all in a nutshell. You know what I'm saying? Until then, you know what I'm saying, we still stuck in position.
Goddamn right. Ewok, I love you like cook food, man. My brother from another
No
mother.
doubt, man.
And,
Go ahead and finish your show, homie, man. I want to hear what the sister got to say.
oh yeah, and y'all need to know Ewok is a original OG male Milltown resident who now lives in Arizona. So he represents all the way from there. You catch Ewok in Arizona wearing an Outlaw Radio hoodie. He'd be like 105. He still got it on. So that's my brother. So we talking about this unity. We're talking about what we need to get there, and it's a very interesting point to talk about reparations. Courtney, what you think about reparations?
I First off, I'm trying to figure out. I said this the other day. I want access like the fucking Arabs got. They get down there every building, and they may have a building and switch the building to a different thing, switch the name. It's like, oh, what the fuck? What the fuck are they getting at? They just keep opening shit up everywhere, every building, every motherfucking wing spot, every smoke shop. It's like y'all getting all the buildings in the city. How? How are y'all getting this access? I want to know the secret to whatever they're doing. You know.
You know what? When it comes to Arabs, there's a thing where the United States made concessions with them because of our dependence on fossil fuels, and we know that America makes deals on the backs of black people. That's how you explain the whole drug game. You talk about America and South America. talking about the United States government in South America, talking about they want to prevent the spread of communism. And this is the 80s. So what did South America have to barter for our services? All they had is cocaine. They don't grow shit else but cocaine. So the United States government decided, okay, what we're going to do is we'll get some of that cocaine. Where did it end up at? It ended up in the ghetto. So the Arabs, people have always questioned their presence in our community, and they should. I mean, and here in Milwaukee, it's really, really crazy. It's really crazy because they're in the worst neighborhoods and they sell us some of the worst shit that they don't use. They don't eat pork rinds. They don't eat pork skins. They don't eat a lot of the shit that they sell. They don't smoke. A lot of them are traditional Muslims. They don't smoke cigarettes or drink liquor, but they'll sell it to us. And then they go out to the suburbs and live. We've sent so many Arabs to Marquette and the University of Wisconsin to become doctors. There's a lot of Arab doctors. If you ever go to the hospital, watch how many of them come in that are Arabs. The Marlboros and them Newports pay for that shit. Keep buying backwoods. Keep doing that. You're sending them. You're paying their tuition. You're right, Stephanie. K2. She's in the chat room. Listen. When I ran with the Panthers, one of our missions was to go into these tobacco stores and get on them for selling legal lean. They were selling legal lean in K2 to youngsters. And we went into these stores, and you know who one of our biggest opponents was for this? Black people. We went into Gauss on Capitol Drive and caught them selling expired meat. Expired meat. Some of it green, some of it maroon, some of it purple. Put them on blast, made them apologize, go on 98.3, apologize, pay for a block cleanup, the whole nine. You know who was most critical of what we did? Black people, the community. We just leave them alone. That's our store. It's not your store. You buying old ass ham hocks and old ass pork chops, and you wonder why you sick. You're wondering why you got to go to Freighter and then see the Indian doctor, right? Whose parents probably owned the store in the first place.
Yeah.
That's the cycle. That's the vicious cycle that we're in.
And so I also feel that we won't have any unity. We don't even have unity within our families and shit, with our parents and cousins, and it's just so toxic and fucked up within the Black family and the Black household. Like, my mom, she had an adult family home. I helped her start this adult family home back in 2010. She's getting older. She really don't want to run it. I'm like, well, let's come up with a contract and, I'll take it over. I can expand it. It could be, we can have a couple group homes. This is run down to the kids. This is generational wealth. What does she do? She called the state and she closed the group home. Like, nigga, what the fuck? So it's like, yeah, within the Black community, even just within our Black families, it's like we don't even be fucking with each other. So like to fuck with each other on a big scale to try to do some real shit. Oh no. Back in the day, back in like the 50s, 40s, it was, back then it was unity, but now. No.
Well, Jesse Paris, who's tuning in via our YouTube page, by the way, make sure you go and see our YouTube numbers are down. They're not very high. And it's partially me because over the years, I had to actually step away from YouTube when the pandemic started, because if you go back and listen to Outlaw Radio, we used to do this, everybody in the studio together. And I would go and do YouTube and Facebook and all this kind of stuff. So once the pandemic hit and I had to do this kind of the best way I could via Zoom, I got away from the YouTube page. Thank God we're utilizing StreamYard now, so we can do our Twitter, we can do YouTube, and we can do Facebook all at the same time. So go to Twitter. If you're on Twitter, Outlaw Radio's on there. If you're on YouTube, Outlaw Radio is on there. It's the People's Network, the People's with a Z on YouTube, because there's too many People's Networks on YouTube. So I just put a Z at the end of people. So you can find us, right? Like, so support, man. Go and subscribe. But Jesse Paris, he says, we had these things before integration. I've talked about the side effects of integration a lot of times. I've talked about the fact that integration became a negative thing for us because we stopped doing us. We stopped being one nation. We were one nation when they wouldn't let us go to their stores, when they wouldn't let us go to their restaurants. I've always said, why would you want to go in a restaurant where they don't want you at? Like, I wouldn't want you to spit on my sandwich and I'm sitting there eating a nasty loogie burger. If they don't want you in their restaurants, let's start our own. You don't want us to sit at listen, the civil rights movement, by and large, was kicked off by a boycott, the bus boycott in Montgomery, Alabama, okay? And this is where Martin Luther King gained his fame at. They couldn't ride on the front of those buses. We all know the story of Rosa Parks. Happy Black History Month. We all know the story of Rosa Parks getting arrested and whatnot. She wasn't the first sister to get arrested for sitting on the front of the bus, by the way, but We know that story. She got the most press because she was NAACP secretary. But so we know that was kicked off. What they did was they boycotted the buses. The bus company in that city almost went broke. They almost went broke. Now, then they say, okay, well, y'all can ride the bus. Instead of us getting back on that bus, we should have done. Should have bought our own damn bus and started our own bus lines.
Yeah.
Greyhound wouldn't be shit if we'd have done that to this day. But we are so happy. I keep saying this. We are so happy and we are so in love with white people. We listen, we want to be with them. We want to sit by them. We want to shop with them. We want to live next door to them, even if they don't want our black ass there. We still, oh Lord, man, I live out there with them good white folks. We send our kids out to these super white schools in the suburbs and they get mistreated and mishandled. And you say, I took my kid out of MPS like you did something slick. Well, now he's going out to Butler or he's going out to some, homestead or something and getting called nigger every day and getting mistreated in school, he or she, I should say. And they got to fight that battle instead of us taking control of MPS. If this district is 80 something odd percent black, why don't we get together and go to the school board meetings and start demanding what we want? I took my son out of MPS, but he don't go all the way out to the suburbs. He go to a private school, right? Which is double jeopardy for me because now my taxes still fund MPS and I got to pay tuition. But, it ain't nothing too good for my baby's education, so I don't mind paying that little, what I mean? But I'm just saying, why don't we, because we complain about MPS, but we don't do nothing about it. That's why I had Miss Beverly on here last night to talk about what's going on in MPS. It's a dysfunctional system. It's just like the Fire and Police Commission, dysfunctional. The Milwaukee Police Department, dysfunctional. The Common Council, dysfunctional. There's nothing in Milwaukee that works except Outlaw Radio. It's the only thing that functions properly, right? And sometimes this shit is dysfunctional too. But I'm joking. But yeah, man, we as black people, we got to get together and I hate to say that because that's such a blanket statement. But when I say get together, it means I don't need to be your best friend in order for us to both be about our liberation and our empowerment, right? The concepts of solidarity involve, do you want equality or do you want empowerment? I don't particularly want to go to your restaurant. Equality is cool, but I'd rather be empowered. Because once I'm empowered, I'll get some equality. You best believe money talk and bullshit run a marathon. You better believe it. So, once we get that money and once we do what we're supposed to do with it, then we'll get the respect we deserve. That's how you get to the, folks say go get the bag. I don't like saying that. I'm too old to say that shit. I say get your money, get your money, man. Get that money, get that credit, get your credit up, get financial knowledge, learn about financial literacy, man. Learn how to invest your money. I know it feel good to ride slick. It feel good to wear some nice clothes and some jewelry. But I ask you this question, Black America and Black Milwaukee, what good do it do you to look great on the outside but be sick as hell on the inside? Like a cancer patient with Gucci on. That Gucci don't mean a damn thing. You dying inside. So that's kind of where I'm at with One Nation tonight. I want to, and even for my enemies, even for people who I don't agree with, I understand we're all black, and this is all about us. This is all people are hard on Chevy Johnson. I am too, because I don't think he'll be a great mayor of Milwaukee, but he is a black man, and I do recognize that. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. I do recognize that as well, right? So I try to give him the benefit of the doubt, Courtney. I try to give him the benefit.
Can't be doing that just because they black. Don't mean fuck that. Can't be doing that.
Right. I thought it was important that you touched on generational wealth though with our families, like us having black businesses that we could pass down to our children. I think that's very important too. Do we think, like, one thing that we don't get that's very important is life insurance? I see some ballers. I see some brothers riding in Benzes with spinners, and do they still ride spinners?
Sometimes I've seen some
flipping paint and all this kind of stuff, and they get killed. And then the picture of you on Facebook is you with a bunch of money in your hand, but they got to GoFundMe for your funeral, right? Like, so brothers is getting cremated, not because it's part of their religious beliefs, but it's because they ain't got the money for the funeral. So we got to get life insurance. We don't insure our possessions. You got a Benz with all this money you put into it. You get into an accident, you can't get it fixed because you don't have insurance, right? So it's one of those things where, like my mama used to say, niggas know the price of everything, but don't know the value of shit. That's what she used to always tell me. And I didn't know what the hell she was talking about when I was little. But I figured it out as an adult. So Outlaw Radio, man, on a Wednesday night. I know people like, damn, do we ever shut up? No. I talk in my sleep, right? I talk in my sleep. World class smart ass in the building. I got the juice connoisseur here with me. I hope you got Courtney's corner ready for us tonight, because people have talked to me about the girl with the books. So it's always good. I always tell black people reading is fundamental. Get them books, man. Get y'all something to read.
Yeah.
People be surprised that reading will put you to sleep at night.
It will, boy.
It does,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. So, and they always say you want to hide something from black people, put it in a book, right? And I don't believe that to be true. We ain't got to do it right now, Courtney. So
I
you
just
got
had to make sure I had my book ready. You know, I wasn't
That's
prepped.
fine.
Had to.
Make sure. We got to make sure we get that book. Let me see this chat room. Jesse Paris, he said Stockholm Syndrome, like Steven from Django. Ernest Walker said mass hypnosis. Stephanie Bowles talked about the hotspot. A lot of people don't know what the hotspot is on 27th and Atkinson. And people have been shot. I don't know right now, are they regulating the hotspot? Because a lot of people have been shot, and there's a lot of, it's over the years, it's had so many issues. Once again, during my days of activism, the hotspot was one of the things that we attempted to try to get something done about, and the community didn't want it. The community is like, leave our store alone, because that's where we go get loose cigarettes at, and that's where we go get our liquor and our beer from. You know, our old English and our
they nachos. Don't forget they get their food there too in the back.
yeah. And it's no surprise that when we look around, we say, damn, we got what? We got hypertension, we got diabetes, we got sugar, we got everything. Because look at the shit we eat, myself included. I ain't putting myself above, because I grew up walking back and forth to the Arab store, getting little Debbie snack cakes and the little quarter waters, the little juices, and all that ghetto fabulousness that we did. That was an event when I was young.
It was wonderful. I was gonna say back then it was popping.
Yes. Y'all going to the stove? That was something.
Exactly, to the stove. It was a group, you know what I'm saying, adventure. Come on, y'all.
What if, and the funny part is I grew up on 17th and Capitol. And when I was little, the corner store over there was actually called Jackson Mini Mart. It was owned by black people. Atkinson, that part of Atkinson was full of black businesses. Moore's Barbershop, J&J's Tap, Red Snappers was over there. Just a bunch of black businesses. They're all gone. That store has been Sam's Food Market, which, like you said, Courtney, was purchased by one family of Arabs and been passed to about 20 of them since I was a kid. You don't even know. We don't even know who the Arabs who own that store is now. It's not the ones who purchased it when I was little. It went from a Arab who said Sam's and to so many different ones. And it's still standing. KFC is gone over there. It's just because, J&J's ran them out with them little ass pigeon wings. KFC became disgusting too. So I'm not riding for them either. But yeah, man, y'all get what I'm saying, man. Y'all get what I'm saying when I'm saying one nation. We need to be one nation. We need to be unified. We air each other's dirty laundry out too much in public. It's one of those things where my parents used to say, you don't go outside this house and tell people what's going on in here. We might argue like a son bitch in this house, but when we walk out and somebody try to touch one of us, it's gonna be hell to take to the captain. We're gonna give it to you with both barrels. And we need to start adapting that mentality again, man. Because if not, then it's a wrap. I mean, it ain't in 15 years. Imagine where the black community is gonna be at if it continues with some of the trends that we see now. Imagine what this community is gonna look like. I can tell you one thing for sure: it's gonna be gentrified. What used to be the hood, what used to be the ghetto, will be the new Wauwatosa. It'll be the new Fox Point. And you know what? They ain't gonna want you down here. I grew up down here in my hood. No, it ain't. It ain't your hood no more, right? So yeah, you can go GD folks out there in on 126th, where they got all the niggers at, and where they round y'all up and put y'all in subsidized housing. Me personally, I ain't gonna be a part of that, because I'm gonna take care of my business. I'm gonna take care of my business, and I'm gonna try to bring as many black people along as I can. But I understand I can't go. Everybody can't go, and I think we need to know that. I can't remember who used to say that all the time. Black people got to pack up and move on. And the sad part about it is all y'all can't come with us. That's Marcus Garvey, who was some of y'all can't come. So everybody can't get on the ship and go to Africa, right?
We know it's problem causing niggas out here. Ain't been like, no, nigga, stay behind. We ain't got time for that. It's people, Everybody
Yeah.
can go.
Yeah, everybody's not going to be able to go. And so, like I said, man, let's put pressure on the politicians. We should send our celebrities because you come out, Puffy come out with some music or some clothes. They want us to buy it. But what you doing with that money? How many chains are you gonna buy? How many necklaces are you gonna buy? Like I seen Fat Joe. Now we talked about Fat Joe with them ugly ass Yeezy boots on, and I made a point. I'm a brother. I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm 46 years old. I'm so happy that I made it this far. I'm not one of them brothers who gonna try to be young or wish I was still young. I am an OG and I'm good with it. So I don't jump on every fad that they get. Some of that stuff is for young boys. It's like when I was young, certain shit we wore the old dudes they couldn't wear. And it's like, why old school dress like that, man? But Fat Joe had the Yeezy boots on. People gave it to him. I thought it was funny as hell too. But he came out and he said, he talked about why can't I dress the way I want to dress or whatever. But my thing with him is he came out then and said he bought a watch. The watch is $4 million, covered in diamonds. $4 million for a watch. Don't know if this is factual. He said it was $4 million. I don't know if this is what he really did, but I'm here to say, why in the hell would you buy a $4 million watch when there's so many other things that you can invest in to make money? And I guess he would say, well, I get money, I got money, and I would never tell another man how to spend his money. But I think there's good shit and there's bad shit. There's smart shit and there's dumb shit. And $4 million for a watch is one of them dumb things. Like
somebody need to tell him what to do with his money because I'm gonna look him up. I don't even think he's like really worth that much. Like it'd be different if he was DJ Khaled, but he's not DJ Khaled. You're not coming with the hits. God damn it. So where the fuck you get $4 million from just for a watch? No, let's look up his net worth. I don't think he should be out here buying shit like that.
And it may be a situation where he has invested his money, so he rewarded himself, and that's fine too. That's
his net
fine.
worth is only $4 million. That was all his motherfucking net worth.
Right. Well, it might be $8 million.
Shit like that. No.
I don't know. I don't want to count nobody's money. I just thought the shit was stupid. At the age we are, it's like, okay, yeah. I mean, what you gonna do with it? Because truth be told, if I go somewhere with a fake watch with diamonds in it, I'm not gonna go the $4 million fake route. But if I go right now and buy a fake watch and I go somewhere with it on, would you know it was fake unless I told you? And I'm definitely not gonna let you walk up to me and take it off my wrist and let me see this. I want to test your diamonds. If you don't get your ass out,
right?
It's real because I said it's real. I seen Chad Johnson talk about when he was in the NFL, he bought fake jewelry, and he said nobody ever even knew the difference. Nobody even ever asked me because they knew I was in the NFL. They assumed I had money, but I bought fake. I would never spend that much money on jewelry. So.
No, them lab made diamonds. What you mean? I'm gonna give me some lab. It's just the same. Just as fine.
Shit, my mother used to sport the shit out them Home Shopping Network jewels, and people used to be like, "Man, yeah, that jewelry is beautiful." She said, "Sure is." That shit,
right.
she didn't give a damn. She was shining. Jesse Perry said, "Damn, you 10, 11 years older than me." Hey, man, I'm older than a lot of people. It is. This has been a life. My life has been long. It's 46 years. It feels like 86. Trust me, it's been a lot of shit. I've been living a long time, man. So yeah, man, I'm off my soapbox about that. Because I talk about the NFL and we know that the brother Flores put the lawsuit in and they did what they do. They backpedaled. They went forward and then they backpedaled. And Roger Goodell initially denied everything, and then he came out and said, "Wait a minute, our record on hiring minorities is unacceptable." Right? No shit, Sherlock. That's what we've been trying to tell your ass. It's the same thing they did with Colin Kaepernick, in which you say he's wrong for kneeling, and in the wake of that, what do we get? We get George Floyd, we get Mike Brown, we get Trayvon Martin, we get all these different situations where black men are gunned down, right? And it hasn't stopped. If you think it stopped since George Floyd, no matter how much people, especially bleeding heart liberals, tell you, "Oh, poor guys," or one of my best friends are black. Totally understand what you guys are going to. It hasn't stopped. I always tell white people, if you want to do something for me, talk to your people. Don't come to me telling me how you like black people when some of your best friends are black. Go talk to your people and tell them to cut the bullshit out. Tell them to stop with the foolishness, right? Like a stat just came out here in Milwaukee. What is it? With 75% of the searches for drugs in homes is black homes. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna say it's not all justified because y'all know y'all be selling some shit, but I mean, you don't know. It's stereotyping.
They don't be checking the white homes like that. They always busting down and raid in the hood. I mean, I know most of us, that know people. We know plenty of white folks that sell drugs, hard drugs, shrooms, all types of shit. They be having all the real shit. But they busting in their houses doing raids like they do us. So.
All right, and they got a whole meth lab in their garage and shit. And
right. They making the real shit. We just got some weed, a couple pills,
That's personal use. That's per.
Right.
You do a whole raid. You did a whole raid.
You know what I'm saying?
Quarter ounce of weed.
Dope.
But that's what I'm saying. We're begging the NFL. We come on, y'all. Get some black coaches, please. And damn near 85% of the athletes in the league are black. With that group of millionaires I just named, why wouldn't all the black players say, hey, because they can put their money in and have a part of it. They can be owners. Let's put our money up and start our own league. Because we'll watch it, because all of the excitement in the NFL damn near is generated by the black players, right? So what are we? It's one of those things. We have many different names for it, many different titles, but I just keep saying when it comes down to it, we just love white people. We love white folks. In America, black people just can't. I'm sorry. We do the whole Lord, white folk. Oh, I hear black people all the time talking about, shit, I go out. I don't go shop in the hood. I go out to the suburbs. I go out with them white people. Like they don't fuck up your order too. Like, I'm just saying we are so addicted to the oppressor. But I guess that's the desired effect. When you stay on somebody's neck, as long as we've been oppressed, that they would be addicted. They would say, well, I'd rather be with you. I feel more safe under the boot of you than being out here on my own. So
it's like we just know they get better shit though. It's like even when I go shopping, I definitely go to the white stores because it's definitely better shit at the Pick and Save or whatever in Menominee Falls than it is in Midtown. I don't think it's the same shit.
Damn, yeah, you hit me with the Midtown joint.
I don't think you're giving us the same quality of products, even as far as Aldi's. Now I'm gonna go to the Aldi's out there. It's different juice. It's wine. We ain't got the wine at the Aldi's on Capitol, but it sure is in Menominee Falls.
Really need the wine on Capitol? I don't know if we need that wine. Like,
see, so exactly. So black folks can't get the wine, but you go out to all the other ones. They got all types of exclusive shit. See, that's exactly why. We can't even get the same shit.
I don't necessarily. I subscribe to that totally, but to understand what you're saying, but I think that what black stores are we talking about? Because Midtown is, come on, like Midtown is such a just black hole.
Even Aldi's
and if you got a business
and Aldi's on Upper Capitol, both of them Aldi's bootleg. I don't fuck with neither one of them. Used to, because better shit on Miller Parkway than both of them Aldi's.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to go in there and do a comparison because I haven't never done a comparison. What I do believe though, Deion James said, "Motherfuckers get killed in Midtown," and that's a sad reality. That a place like that's a place where we should be able to go and shop at and spend our money is. But once again, one nation. If we get together to protect the stores in our community. See, we have a culture of dysfunction in which a lot of shit we do, we sell it. We're cheerleaders for foolishness. I've been in stores before where a black person was showing their entire ass and they look back at me and say, you know what I'm saying, bro? And I had to tell them, nah, I have no clue what you're talking about. You're doing too goddamn much right now. I'm just trying to get the fuck up out the store, man. Move your ass out the way. But we should be more proactive in preventing the crime in Midtown. How do we do that is the question. That's what we have to talk about, right? A shout out to Earl Henning. He said Milwaukee won't give liquor license to Aldi's. I guess because we got so many Arab liquor stores. Milwaukee don't really need another liquor outlet but now you can go to Midtown and get some liquor. They got a whole liquor store attached. I know because they buy a lot of liquor from there.
But Kev, it's like we need to figure out how to stop the violence and make the violence be less. But it's like at this point, Milwaukee was getting wild. It was getting wild. But now we out here shooting at police. We shooting at the sheriffs. We're not even just shooting at. We gonna shoot you. So yeah, look, if you gonna shoot the police, you most definitely gonna shoot me. I don't know if I want to stop you from doing what you're doing. I got some kids to go home to, fam. I don't want to die today.
Well, I mean, I don't expect civilians, and so that's a perfect transition because I was looking today and I seen that there was actually a march against violence that was led by Chevy Johnson and the new leader, I believe the sister's name is Anita Holman of the Office of Violence Prevention. Okay, we've talked, and I had when Reggie Moore was the leader of the Office of Violence Prevention, we had him and damn near his whole staff on Outlaw Radio. We didn't really come to any solution because it was just chaotic and there was a lot of finger pointing and accusations, and I just shut the whole damn thing down because I don't I don't thrive in those kinds of environments. But the resolution was that $8 million would be given now. Again, $8 million would be given to anti-violence organizations in the city. The leading candidate being the Office of Violence Prevention. Okay. This is the only thing I'm going to say, because I think I always say, as long as you're trying, you're good with me. As long as you're trying to do something, I appreciate that. But my thing is this: over the last 4 years, I've probably seen same leaders, Office of Violence Prevention, and a bunch of other people get together and say, we're going to launch an initiative against violence in the city, and millions of dollars have been promised. And they've said that, well, they're going to expand the services of the Office of Violence Prevention. They have the violence preventer programs and these kinds of things. I've had Brother Ray Mendoza and Brother Forte, Brother Martin on the show plenty of times. Shout out to them. But my thing is, okay, what you're doing is not working. Right now, we're double the homicides in January that we were last year. Right now, we've smashed our murder record for the last 2 years. And let me tell you something about that record. It had stood since 1991, 1992. We've broken it 2 years in a row. Now, the Office of Violence Prevention has been around about 4, 5, 6 years now. It's been around for a while. What you're doing is not working. I'm not trying. I don't want to be a hater. Once again, I'm all for positive solutions. So you did this march today. They went from North Avenue to Wright, which we know is in 53206. Some tough sledding, right? It's rough down there. They went door to door. They handed out pamphlets. What they really want is they want people in the community to take responsibility for reporting crime. I'm gonna tell you my issue with this. Why are you putting pressure on citizens to report crime? Because just like Courtney just said, I'm trying to get home. I got my own kids at home. I ain't no crime fighter. I ain't no avenger. I'm not no X-Man. Why don't you put this pressure on the Milwaukee Police Department, who have about a $700-800 million budget, right? Why don't you put the pressure on them? Why, when I see the most egregious acts in this city go down, it ain't a police car in sight? Have you ever been driving down the street and one of these reckless drivers, these Kia boys, flew past you, damn near knocked your block off, and you looking around like, if I was speeding like that, the police would chirp the shit out of me. As a matter of fact, a couple of times I ain't been speeding and they hit me. You're checking your license and your tag. Is you didn't just see these dudes with a spare tire on a Kia doing 70 in the bus lane, right? So why don't we put the expectation to curb crime on the police department? Why is this so much? Well, y'all got to tell. We want y'all to tell. We want y'all to start telling. Why don't you come up with strategic initiatives? Because I seen that walk today and I was thinking, law enforcement ain't with them. Why are the police? If you want to build strong relations with the community, maybe you should engage in community policing. I'll tell you why? Because people don't trust the damn police. Because we've had an issue in our community where people were speaking up and they weren't getting protection. There's no witness protection program in Milwaukee. It's putting your ass right back on the block. As a matter of fact, that murder that we saw last Sunday, where there were 6 bodies found, correct me if I'm wrong, they said a couple of those people were set to testify in the trial. So that means they weren't protected if somebody was allowed to go in there, I'm saying allowed, but got away with going in there, killing all those people and getting away with it. So I say maybe we should put a little bit more pressure on the Milwaukee Police Department. And I'm not saying it ain't good cops out there. I'm not saying it ain't cops out there who do their job that are dedicated. I'm saying what you're doing is not enough. None of what anybody's doing is enough, obviously, because the city's still shit, right? So we all need to step our game up. So stop putting all this on. We need you guys to cooperate. We need y'all to do y'all jobs. Maybe we don't feel safe cooperating because somebody gonna come shoot our damn house up the next night. So I think when it comes to this mayoral kind of, it's this energy with the mayoral thing, and Chris Johnson and myself was trying to do a forum. The forums are watered down. I mean, let's be honest. we were trying to do a mayoral forum, and I don't know if it's going to come together, because and I'm really at this point I'm a little kind of disillusioned with the whole mayoral forum thing, because I kind of feel like, because I really didn't want to talk to everybody before the primary. I wanted to wait until after, because we want to talk to the people that are actually running. So we still may do it. We were trying to get it done at the Sherman Phoenix. We still may do it, but I don't know. Like I said, I feel like it's kind of watered down. But I just feel like they're taking the wrong approach. And I said that to say this: the main thing that you can do is attack poverty in this city. Do you understand that poor people have to deal with a lot of adverse situations, and they make decisions based on desperation? If you want to combat poverty in this city, I mean combat crime in this city, what you need to do is get at poverty. You need to bring jobs to Milwaukee. I'm not saying build it in Wauwatosa. I ain't saying build it in Kenosha. Build it in Milwaukee. Century City is what's in Century City? The old A.O. Smith, which was a factory that built the whole community. What's there? We got an industrial corridor that runs through the middle of our city with a bunch of vacant industrial property. I understand there's some problems with pollution that those old companies, old foundries left, brownfields and whatnot, but you can get grants through the EPA. Or let's demand that some of the COVID money that we're going to use to fix the pipes, allegedly, unless Chevy have his way, because he said it's paint. Let's use some of that money to redevelop the 33rd Street, the 30th Street corridor, which runs through the middle of the city. Some of the worst neighborhoods in this city have big ass vacant factories that have been closed since I can remember. And like I said, I'm old as hell. Let's look at attacking poverty, right? Miss Ann Floyd, she said she lived in 53206. She said they called the police for stolen cars in front and in back of their home. And they came to the door and asked us, can they see the tape? She said they arrested her husband for something they said from 10 years ago. So they came to her door, said they wanted to see the tape, and then arrested her husband for something she said they did 10 years ago. So she said, I told them, no, I'd never call y'all again. That's the kind of shit you got to deal with in the black community. Some cops come to your door and they treat you like the criminal, right? And that's one of the reasons why we don't like dealing with the police. And the sad part about it is, one of my worst experience with law enforcement was with a black cop. It was a black dude. Like I was, my brother's in the police car, handcuffed, and I'm just trying to get his keys. He's asking me to take my keys, move my truck. What? White cop, is that your brother? Yeah. Okay, well, guess who had a problem with it? The black cop. Oh, he was Kung Fu Joe. I said, get away from the car. I'm looking at him like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? To the point where my brother just said, don't even worry about it, man. Just don't, because dude finna try to take you to jail. And it was just because I'm standing there talking to my brother. Like I said, the white cop was actually like, okay, well, this is his brother. He'll do what you need to do. So that's what we face with when you deal with police. And this is why people don't want to talk to him. Miss Ann Floyd, you are correct. Talgo is in Century City, and even those trains, you see, they're sending those trains to Africa because they have nowhere to sell. They can't sell them. And we dismissed, well, when Scott Walker was the county executive, he got rid of the program that would have created a real train to run through Milwaukee transit that'll take you to the jobs on the outer parts of the city and in the suburbs. So now those trains have sat there for so long. Talgo just said, you know what, we gonna sell them somehow. So they're going to Africa. So I think it's Nigeria or Kenya those trains are going to. So yeah, I mean, what was Barrett, what was he doing this whole time when he was in office? When it comes to black people, he wasn't doing a whole lot for us. And this is the concern about Chevy Johnson becoming the mayor, is that a lot of people feel like he's just gonna toe the line for what Mayor Barrett was doing. And we don't need a continuation of Mayor Barrett's policies. We really don't. We need change. I guess that's my concern with everybody who's running. I really don't see anybody who's come up with a plan, who has a definitive plan for black people. I ain't talking about everybody else. I could give a damn about every other. They got theirs. I'm worried about black people. Do you have an economic plan for people of color in this city? Can you look at me as a candidate and say, and speak in specifics and say, I'd like to go down to the central city and take this industrial corridor and develop it and build businesses and build factories that people can have access to work, instead of having to get in a car and go drive 2 hours to Kenosha or Waukesha to work and get sweated by their cops and get sweated by the deputies on the highway to assist them in making their quotas. We need politicians that'll speak specifically to what is going to be done for us as people of color. One nation, like I stated, man. 262-202-5131. I ain't trying to preach. I know y'all say, man, this boy, it's just so much. I feel like it's so many things that should be obvious in the black community. I feel like there's so much that we should be paying attention to that we just ignore. There's so many issues that we need addressed that we allow those who are supposed to be elected and put in place to address. We allow them not to address those situations. We allow the band-aids on a bullet wound. We allow this as people of color. We in this city, we allow them to play in our face. We allow them to piss in our face and tell us it's raining. I'm saying we need to get together and stop. Enough with the bullshit. Okay? Don't give me, I don't, it's Black History Month. I can't stand them when they roll out the I Have a Dream speech. Okay? 50 years since this speech has happened. Y'all still, what an inspiring message. It's not so inspiring to me anymore. That dream is a nightmare right now. That dream is a nightmare. Look at race relations, right? Do I really want my kids holding hands with white kids, running hand? I want them to hold hands with other black kids. We gotta learn how to get along with us before we start getting along with everybody else. So I know I talk too much. Courtney, you got to jump in and cut me off. Say, goddamn.
Look, I was finna them white kids in Wauwatosa told my son he was made of poop on the first day of Black History Month.
Oh, Lord.
Brown.
Oh, Lord. Wow.
And then he's 7. So we're,
wow.
It's like you want to get your kids out of MPS, but like you said, it's a whole different issue when you put them in them suburban schools. Now, they dealing with white folk,
Now, do you feel like your child is getting a better education in the suburbs?
Yeah, compared to MPS, yes. And even with my oldest son, he went to Germantown most of the years, and now he's back in MPS, and he's going to Mesmer. And just from those variety of schools, Germantown was way better. The stuff that they were trying to teach him in 8th grade at Mesmer, he had already learned in 5th grade in Germantown.
Okay.
So
you said he's at Mesmer right now?
No, right now he's at Riverside.
Okay.
He's at Riverside, but we're trying to get him out to the Wauwatosa High School as well. We're trying to get them all out there. Yes.
Okay. And Wauwatosa is hard on a black man. Wauwatosa is not a very friendly place for black people. But I mean, once again, I would never tell anybody you want your kid to get a good education, and you ain't wrong if you say, well, this is not going to do it for me, because the one thing those schools got to do is prepare our kids to work and exist in the real world, and MPS just doesn't prepare our young brothers. I've worked in MPS. I'm sorry, I've worked with them, and I probably I have a lot of associations with MPS, but I have to be honest. They have to be honest. I'm not saying there are not a lot of people in MPS who do their best. I know some very hardworking teachers, but what they dealing with is something else. Like I said, I know teachers who there before everybody gets to the building, and they're there after everybody leaves that building. But what they have to deal with is crazy. And some of the pressures that they put on them is crazy. Some of the expectations they put on them are crazy. Ewok said, mentally, what about that? That education ain't worth sanity. Okay, so he's saying you're sending your kids to Wauwatosa for the education, but white kids are telling them he's made out of poop. So how does
I know a lot of black folks that have went to suburban schools. I've had friends that have gone to suburban schools, and shit it's different because you're gonna get fucked with either way. Either you're gonna get fucked with by your peers that are black, because they're gonna talk shit about you while you're in school. You're gonna get into a couple fights. It's gonna be, or you're gonna deal with from white folks from a different aspect. And I also picked Wauwatosa. The school he's in right now has a lot of white kids, but Wauwatosa, it's a lot of black folks in Wauwatosa compared to any other district where it's really just white folks. So me as a parent, I really want him to go smack the shit out of everybody, but I try not to be that parent. That's my thing. I'm like, punch him in their motherfucking face. But that's not how we should handle all things. But him being 7, his dad went to Cudahy. He dealt with some of these things. So we're trying to work through it, but I don't know. It's like, because you want your child to have their sanity, but you also want them to have the best education. The MPS does not give you a good education really at all. So the shit is hard. The shit is hard. You just really have to continuously build your child up. Like, man, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? You'll always be better than them, and they'll always want to be like you. Know that. But I've never, I think I got called a nigger once. My mom was in the military, so I went to different schools, lived in different states. I got called a nigger by a Mexican. But
wow.
It didn't really, I don't know.
I wish I'm a cheerleader for MPS. I want MPS to work because they have the majority of our children there. I'm not, I'm not one of those people who close it down, break it up, or none of that. And I graduated from MPS. So I want MPS to work, but I just have to be honest about what I see. And it's not all the fault of the district. A lot of it, like some of us, I don't know if y'all know how y'all kids act when you ain't there, right? Some of us, it's piss poor parenting because we're not holding our own children accountable. That's another question to ask yourself as a parent. Do you hold your children accountable for the decisions they make, or is it always somebody else's fault? That goddamn teacher, one of the things I hated as a public school teacher is when some parent would come into the room calling theyself finna check me. You, Mr. Barnes? Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. No, hold on. Wait a minute before we even get started. Nope, that ain't how this conversation finna go. Right? Like I don't know how many parents I had to stop and say, hold on, wait a minute. Before we even get started, let's establish this. This is not a me against you or you against me thing. This is both of us advocating for your child, right? You want to talk about what's going on in the classroom with your child? We're going to have that conversation. There ain't going to be no disrespect. Ain't going to be no checking. You ain't going to be checking nothing, okay? I'm a grown man, and I demand that respect from your child just like I'm demand it from you. So a lot of times when I put that out there, the parents say, okay, well, you know what, you right. Or they say, well, shit, I ain't trying to. I've had some issues with some parents where they left. I'm going to get that goddamn principal then. Well, you had to go get somebody because it ain't going to, what you trying to do ain't going to work up in here. That ain't going to happen up in here because I'm just as much of an adult as you are. So, but I want MPS to work. So I want leaders who can give MPS, come up with solutions for MPS to work. There's a lot going on. Y'all pay attention to the news. That's all I'm going to say about MPS. It's a lot going on. A lot of stuff is about to come out, and it's some of it's sad. And they have $1 billion budget, damn near two, if not over $2 billion. I feel like there's nothing our kids shouldn't have from our public school system when they getting that kind of money. Now we talk about doing for self. Some good news came from this. Snoop Dogg bought Death Row Records, right? Like I seen this story. Snoop Dogg bought Death Row Records.
No.
And the crazy thing about Death Row is that it was a black-owned business built by black artists. And Suge, for whatever reason, Suge Knight just wasn't able to keep it going. And we know the death of Tupac pretty much ruined Death Row. Tupac's death was the end of an era as far as rap music goes. And I'm old once again, so I remember. And I remember how rap music changed and how the energy shifted once Tupac was killed. But Death Row got away from him. And at one point, did the toy company Mattel or Hasbro own Death Row Records? And it's been shifted around. But Snoop came in and bought the likeness and the logo. And they said that he's actually the second part of the deal would be him purchasing the catalogs of some of the artists, that are on Death Row. And Snoop had expressed a desire to own Death Row, and people once again were saying, oh, it ain't gonna happen, they ain't gonna do that, they ain't gonna do that. But I feel like it's a good thing for Snoop, and I hope Snoop, can generate generational wealth. And really, it's our music, it's our culture. So I hope he's able to do something positive with Death Row. Courtney, I know I challenge you, for the old school rap. I don't know if you're familiar with all the Death Row. I know you know Tupac, but
you be acting like I'm just so young. I mean, look, I know those people on there. Don't be acting. Look, I don't watch the movies. I know who was there. I know about Suge Knight roughing everybody up. I know about 187 on the motherfucking cop. All of that. So, I know enough.
Because I know you're like, hey, old ass, I don't know about that old ass music.
Because you and my big brother, y'all the same age. He got, or maybe he a little bit older than you because he's 15 years older than me. Yeah, he probably like 49. He's about to be 49. So yeah, my other brother is 45. So yep. I had them brothers listen to the music, writing raps. I'm sitting there trying to read they raps, and yeah, I know about that era just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So you familiar with them 90s? The 90s was the shit. So I don't care about whatever anybody say. R&B, rap music, black movies, black TV shows. The 90s was the shit. Stop it. Right. It was going down, and it was a spirit of entrepreneurship. There was a spirit of consciousness, and that's one of the things about rap that is left, because we had X Clan, we had Boogie Down Productions, we had Public Enemy, we had a lot of rappers who were, a lot of us found out about Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam and all these kinds of things from rap music. I didn't personally, because my mom she made sure I had all of that literature. But a lot of us, we would walk around at one point wearing African medallions. And I remember brothers used to wear the Malcolm X hats, and people used to wear T-shirts. It's a black thing, you wouldn't understand, and all that's gone. I seen brothers now walk around with AK-47s on their shirt, right? Like it's all about dysfunction now. So, and I try not to be too critical of rap music, because I understand that I was a gangster rap, one of those fans, and my father used to look at me like I was crazy, like, what the hell is you listening to? Because he didn't understand it. But there was first of all, a lot more creativity and a lot more social commentary in it. Now, this is something I don't know if you're familiar with. Now, do you, or have you been listening, or have you listened to Chicago drill music? Are you familiar with drill music?
I mean, I've listened to a little King Von. I mean, I like some of his flows, but the rest of them I don't really be liking. No.
Okay.
No,
So,
I don't care for it.
So drill music right now is, people are blaming, especially in particular, there are a lot of DJs around the country who are saying that they're not going to play drill music, because if you know anything about drill music, a lot of the artists, like most of the artists, have gotten murdered, in particular in Chicago. And now it's kind of translated over to New York, right? Like where the young drill rappers, New York rappers, are taking on this kind of drill music format, and a lot of them are getting murdered.
What does drill stand for, though? What does drill mean?
Okay, so from my understanding, it was labeled drill music because it was about drilling your enemy, like literally.
Exactly. So what do they expect? I mean, the one song I listen to is called Drill, and the whole hook is "Let's go on a drill." Which means let's go on a drill, and let's go pop somebody. So yes, if y'all continuously making songs about going on drills and being a part of drills and drilling your ops, and someone's gonna get shot. Yes.
Smoking somebody and smoking a pack or whatever. I don't. Okay, so help my whole ass out with this, right? Like smoking that pack, right? I don't know where it came from. You want to roll smoke your enemy? You'll put his ashes on your blunt and smoke it. Like, I don't know. I'm not really. I don't want to hit that blunt. I'm good. So, but yeah. So the drill music is just one aspect. I look around a lot. Like I used to, when I would drive my daughter to her bus stop in the morning, when she was still in school. I would listen to the Breakfast Club. So I'd be on the way to we'd be sitting in the car waiting on the bus to come or whatever. And, they sometimes be talking about positivity, but then the music that they play after it, the messages were crazy. Some of the stuff they used to talk about, I used to just turn the shit off. Like, look, bruh, come on. And Charlemagne now is a little bit different, but I'm talking about back when he used to be like, when certain females were on there, he'd be smelling the seat and talking about sucking farts out of booties. And this is stuff he used to say on the air. Like, and I used to be like, why do they let this dude get away with all this foolishness, man? So, those messages, the culture around us. Somebody asked me the other night, did I think Grand Theft Auto has anything to do with the reckless driving issues in Milwaukee right now? Do I think that these kids growing up playing Grand Theft Auto, does that have anything to do with the way they operate vehicles and automobiles right now? And I had to scratch my head and say, I wonder if. I've always had the Grand Theft games from the first one years ago. My son plays it right now, and I'm wondering, am I doing him a disservice by allowing him to play Grand Theft Auto? Like I'm hoping that my wife and I's parenting in the background is keeping him from thinking that he can go out here and drive a car up and down the street like Grand Theft Auto. But what about those kids who don't have positive reinforcement?
I think it depends on mindset, Kev, because like I didn't have Grand Theft at my crib, but I used to play it somewhere. I don't remember where I used to play it, but when I played it, I used to just cruise around and play Ralph Transvested Sensitivity. I used to change the radio in there specifically so I got to that song, and then I just cruise, maybe run some people over, but I just be cruising and listen to the tunes. That's all I did on the game. No missions, no nothing. So I think it depends on the person and if people bring that shit into their reality. I mean, a couple years later, I was still in my mom's car, but it had nothing to do with the game. I don't think it had shit to do with the game, but I felt the need. I wanted to drive. And I really think it came from her boyfriend. One of her boyfriends teaching me a couple moves in her vehicle, and it was on and popping since then. Like, oh, I'm going to take this motherfucker.
I don't know.
Faces, Kev, like you don't understand.
The fact that you was listening to Ralph Transband Sensitivity on Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put all that together. So I'm one of those people. My face tells you what I'm thinking. So I'm like, okay, I didn't even know Ralph. I didn't even know Ralph had a song on. As much as I played Grand Theft, I didn't even know Ralph Tresvant had Sensitivity on there, which is one of my favorite '90s songs, by the
First
way.
time I heard it, I was like, "Oh, I like this song." Played it all the time while cruising. That was my shit.
Smashing through the intersection, running people over. I remember when Grand Theft came out, one of the major crazy things about it was you could actually pick up a prostitute. And the prostitute would get in the car and the car would move or whatever. And like, people would, from drive-bys. It's the first of an open world game where you could pretty much do whatever you wanted to do. They actually just announced that Grand Theft Auto 6 is about to come out.
Oh,
Am I gonna buy it? Probably. Not gonna lie. I probably will. I mean, like I said, I'm a cheerleader for foolishness on a lot of things. I once did a show called A Coon and Me, where I looked at all of the ways that I have that are counterproductive to our community. You know what I mean? So I'm honest. I try to be honest with myself about it. Um, let's see. Let's see what we got in our chat room. Seduction Doll says she liked drill music. She says she thinks the urban legend might be real from all the murders. She says she's no fan of the Breakfast Club. It's real off-brand material in her opinion. Earl Henning said the guiding light. Uh, host said, what do you want your kids to grow up to be? You know what? That's a question. That's a question that you have to ask yourself. Like, what do you allow your children access to? Like, so, but I can say this. I grew up watching a lot of crazy shit on TV, and I got a VCR, and it was in our room, and my brother and I, it was in our room. My parents would just say, y'all want to rent some movies? Yeah, we go rent 3 movies. And they didn't know a lot of times what we were watching. We was watching Bachelor Party and Weird Science and the Terminator and Commando and all these crazy violent movies and all this kind of stuff. My parents didn't know, but I knew that ass whoopings was real in our house. So I knew a certain shit that they was doing on that movie I couldn't do. Um, I knew that those kids on those movies, parents wasn't like Miss Barnes, because Miss Barnes played no games and she just wasn't having it. So you try some shit you seen on a movie, it wasn't gonna work out for you. So I feel like if you are a responsible parent, because first of all, you cannot control what your kids get access to nowadays, right? And people say, my son got a phone, but I keep it locked. He can't get anything on the internet. Well, as soon as he get on the bus by one of his friends who got his phone that ain't locked, check out what I found on the internet. Look at this, bro. Check this out. Our kids see any and everything. In school, what you think they doing? They're sharing all the information that they have. And for the kid who don't got it, he or she will get access to it. So I just think like your parenting plays a very large role in how your kids turn out. There's no 100% way to do it. I know that because you can give them the world and they'll go left. My parents did a good job of being parents. We had some other issues on the side, but I still went left for a minute. My daddy was a whole preacher. I still went way left of the line for a good minute where I was just out there doing whatever it was. Thank God I was able to get myself back in line. There's another thing I was looking at too. Now the movement in Wisconsin is to legalize marijuana because in Illinois they've stated that they've actually, I think for the 3rd year in a row, they've made more money tax-wise off the sale of legalized marijuana than they make off alcohol. So now there's a movement to legalize marijuana, be it medically or recreationally, in Wisconsin. And they're saying it probably won't happen this year, but in the next few years, marijuana will be legal. The possession of it will be legal. And I think about this. First of all, I process it as, somebody who's smoked weed before. I'm not going to say how long or how much or how often. But from an adult perspective, and you say, well, yeah, then I can smoke my weed in peace.
That's right.
For our babies, though, like I look at the damage alcohol does, because we know a lot of underage youth get a hold of alcohol and they get on that path early. I took my first drink when I was about 14 years old, right? And I just stopped a couple months ago. So you can do that math. So I think about legalized marijuana and I'm saying, as a smoker, don't be selfish. Okay. As an adult, you say, well, yeah, I want it legal. But what kind of parameters are they going to put in place to ensure that our kids, because I think getting a hold to it too early is bad. I think
They got
building
it
up
now.
tolerance. Yeah. Well, you think so?
I mean, my son he's in high school and he I think even in 8th grade, he was telling me about kids with vape pens and I mean, just the corner stores, that Delta 8 right now, since it's not THC, and they got access to all that right now. So when I was a teenager, the first time I hit weed, I was in 6th grade. So that shit has been accessible to people for the longest. Like I said, that was blunt. They rolled a blunt when I was in 6th grade and I hit it. So yeah, whether they make it legal or not, these kids want to be smoking either which way. Like, I got a home girl. I call her my cousin because our children are related. And just the mindset of some parents. She was like, well, my son's going to be 17 and he done started smoking. So I think for his birthday, I'm going to probably just take him to Denver and we'll go to the dispensaries. No, nigga. Just because he smoke or he smoke and he's turning 17, you don't go take him to the dispensary. He's fucking 17. Nigga, no. But there's a lot of parents like that. It's a lot of parents smoking with their kids. I told you, just a lot of moms and dads out here that was gang members, and the parenting, it's just not the best. It's not. So they're going to get a hold of the weed if they want to. Just like if they want to get a hold of the liquor. It's legal or not, they're going to get it.
Okay.
They got it now.
I guess I don't disagree. In high school, especially, I already know in high school, in high school, I was like a Jamaican. It was crazy. I'm talking about little kids. You talking about 6th grade? Like, that's ridiculous. There's no way. You're talking about a 12-year-old. You got no business. You have no business with, getting access to that. And I wanted to get into the parenting part of it. Jesse Paris he lives in Denver, or you're from Denver, I believe. He's in the chat room. He said it's been legal since 2012. I don't know, how is that experience? Because I believe the tax revenue that's generated by it can be utilized to bring some real rehab and some real education and some programming and to create some outlets so kids won't necessarily go that way. I believe part of the draw of marijuana and any drug and alcohol is the fact that people say you shouldn't do it. People say it's illegal, don't do it. So that makes you say, I want to do that shit. It must be good if they don't want me to do it. But if it's like cigarettes, like for so long, everybody and their mama smoked cigarettes. I grew up in a situation where people walk around the grocery store smoking cigarettes. Like, everywhere you went, you could smoke. There were literally ashtrays everywhere you went. Now we live in this society where you can't really smoke nowhere. Like, some places won't even let your ass smoke outside they building. But I grew up where half of the restaurant was for smokers and half of it was for non-smokers. I don't know how that made sense because it's like
smoke wasn't right. Yeah.
But now it's even in the bar. Like, I used to go in the bar, we smoked in the bar. Like, it wasn't now you can't even smoke in a bar. And I feel like marijuana is the same thing. Like, you legalize it and you let people know, look, this ain't no big deal. This ain't some secret herb you want to grab a hold to. I feel like the kind of outlaw nature of it, the stigma on it, you take that away and just say, hey, this is another substance like alcohol or chewing tobacco or coffee. All you Starbucks fiends who think that caffeine in that coffee ain't got your ass tweaking early in the morning. Surprise, surprise. It's just another, it's like sugar in soda. Like, for some of us who can't control, you can't eat just one. Got to get 5 of them. It's another substance, man, that people utilize just to kind of, get from point A to point B. So I think if we do that and create a lot more awareness, that tax revenue, especially in a city like Milwaukee, I think it'll be good. Seduction Doll said they're using the tax money for everything. Earl Henning said, yeah, they can go back to Brian's books for the school so that people can learn for real. I don't know what Brian's books is. I'm not totally sure. He said they can get a hold of it now. No, you're right. You're right. They can get a hold to it now. Courtney, you made a good point. Kids got already getting it. So yeah. I don't know if that means legalize it though. I don't know. Jesse Parrish said they lied and said it was supposed to go to the schools and programs, but it seems it just went in their pockets. Now, yeah, that's a point where, if you legalize it, how you gonna make sure that money goes where it's supposed to be? We'll see. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if they legalized it. I really and I say that because if it's one more thing that'll stop Black people from being incarcerated, for bullshit. I mean, they lock us up for any and everything. And I don't think you can put a brother who's selling pounds of weed in the same cell with a brother who done killed 3 people. And he got the same time as somebody who done shot up I feel like that's stupid. That's too punitive. I mean, so I feel like they should legalize it. And the basis of why it's illegal in the first place, when we start talking about racist Gay Edgar Hoover and Harry J. Anslinger, look that name up. Harry J. Anslinger was one of the most racist individuals that ever had power in this country. He was the first drug czar. And one of his main reasons for making weed illegal was because he didn't want black dudes using it. Jazz musicians, he put that narrative out there that when black men get high off weed, they want to screw white women, right? I don't know how true that is, depending on where you live, but that's not my experience. So look up Harry J. Anslinger. Look him up, and you'll say, "Wow, this is real."
Look 'em up.
First drug czar in the history of the United States, known racist, admitted racist. The OC, the original cross dresser, J. Edgar Hoover, that was one of his partners. Look it up. That's why I say the war on drugs is unjust. The reason why marijuana is illegal is unjust. So if we're gonna have something with drugs, let's do it for the right reasons. Not let's not do it just to lock up black people or to punish one group of people, or you want to take it away because you think black men want to screw your woman. America has accepted a lot of bullshit narratives about black people and ran with it. It's just so stupid. Seduction Doll says she enjoyed a good square. She says she's smoking one right now. They tried to ban them, but that ain't but it didn't stick. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, man, give me my, before I got on my health, which I was out of necessity, I take a Black and Mild to the neck. I ain't above it, I'm a couple bowls, some vodka. I'm just saying, you're getting too old now. You got to calm down, eat some vegetables and relax a little bit. But I'm not, if moderation is the key. If you can smoke one square and chill, you good. But if you got to smoke 4 packs, you guys slow down. Like one Whopper is okay. 3 Whoppers, not okay.
Not so much.
Right. Robert Kelly said he can give me lots of information as to why weed is illegal. I've done a lot of research on it, Robert. I'd like to know. I mean, if you got something I don't know, I'm always open to learning. I ain't like that. But I always base what I say on Harry J. Anslinger and what he did in America in the 30s with alcohol, with prohibition and stuff like that. I always base the fact that it was because it was something racial about it. And that's why I say, that ain't because why is alcohol kills way more people than marijuana.
Yes.
So, but it's been legal for a long time. I know Malcolm X gave a speech where he talked about that government seal on a pack of cigarettes, on a bottle of liquor that made it legal so they could tax it. So, it's one of those things that we look at. Now, you Kia boys out there, y'all be careful because they're recalling Kias right now. They got an issue where they catch on fire. The braking systems, they saying park them outside. There's contaminants. 500,000 Kias and Hyundais are being recalled from 2016 to 2019. All this information is in the People's News Network, by the way. If you think he's lying, he's making that shit up. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Chevy man myself anyway. So, but y'all be careful with them Kias. Robert Kelly said he's done a podcast on weed. I've done some podcasts high off weed, but I ain't never done none specifically on weed. That's a joke. That's a joke. I'm joking. Enlighten me, my brother. We should talk. You can always inbox me that information that you have on marijuana. I'll be glad to see it. I want y'all to know the Rufus King shooter, the guy who went up to Rufus King in order to break up a team. First of all, he's 38 years old. I want to tell you adults, you get a call from your niece or your nephew at a school talking about they in a fight, they getting jumped, you need to come with the AA. You too old for that shit. You're going to go up there and pick your niece and nephew up and get out of Dodge. You don't go up there, call yourself going to jump in it or defend them. Now, apparently this brother went up there to, because his niece called him and said there was a fight. He got there and instead of him breaking it up, he starts shooting the gun in the ground. Okay, bullets ricochet. I don't know if this brother didn't understand what guns do, right? I don't know if he didn't understand that, but multiple teenagers were shot outside of high school, a public school. And so he's been charged. He's 38 years old. This brother, Devon Job is his name. And I know that there's a lot of situations where kids get into it at school. I'm going to call my uncle. I'm going to call my cousin. But, at that 38 years old, bro, you too old to be trying to go up there and jump in a fight with some kids. You're right, Miss Ann Floyd. A lot of these adults are the problem. They are the problem. Don't be the problem. If your niece and nephew call you, go get her. Go get him. Get him away from the drama. You bring your ass up there with a gun. And first of all, why you show up with a gun? Right? Like, it's what he gets what he gets. I'm against black men being locked up, but he gets what he gets. It is what it is. Seduction Doll said we start smoking weed, then we start talking about cut the check. Everything in essence is bad for us. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've seen weed ruin people's lives too. I'm not gonna say, I'm not, I'm not one of those people who's it's the best thing in the world. I've seen it ruin people's lives. Some people just have addictive personalities, and they shouldn't smoke weed or do no other drugs. Robert Kelly said he done podcasts starting 12 years ago. I'd like to know. I'm always open to listening. I support anybody who does anything like this, any kind of podcast, any kind of platform that informs Black people of what's going on. Before we get out of here, it's 9:02. Time flies when I'm having a good time. I run my mouth. I know y'all like, God damn, he never shuts up, and I don't. But Joe Rogan, who the montage of him using the N word, and Black people have gone back and forth saying, is he racist? Is he not? He is. He's not. Black celebrities. He's not racist. And we talked about this on the Big Black Sports Show last night. Myself and my brother Larry Purdue. White people have an unnatural obsession with the N word. I can't say it enough times. I think it's time white people let their obsession with the N word go. Okay, it's the rule of thumb here is it's disrespectful. Okay, it's just like brothers with the word bitch. It's just like that. Okay, it's just when you talk to a female, especially if you want to be derogatory with her, and I know a lot of females got friends and they don't look at it the same way, but for the most part, for a male to refer to a woman as a bitch is a disrespectful term. If I'm gonna walk up to you and say, "Hey, bitch, what's happening?" Oh, bitch, gone. It's very disrespectful. It's very disrespectful. It's very derogatory. I feel like the N word for white people is the same way. And I think Black people who are going to utilize that word need to observe some rules. There's rules to it. I believe if that's the word that you choose to utilize amongst you and other people of color, your family or your friends, then make sure you use that word in a private setting. I don't think you should be out in public. I can't stand when I'm out in public and I see brothers and sisters and they just throwing that word around. And just, and I'm looking around and I'm saying, it's not that I'm offended by it. It's not that I'm sensitive to it, but I want you to understand that when you use that word in that fashion, it gives other people a reason or an excuse to use it. So when I look at Joe Rogan, and he came out today and said this is a political hack job, a political hit job on him. The fact that they put all of the times that he used the word nigger together in a montage. I don't know if y'all have seen it. I've been trying to find it to put it in the People's News Network so y'all can see it. But I mean, the bottom line is, Joe, you knew what you was doing, right? You knew what you was doing when you chose to use that word. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't. The fact that Whoopi is suspended for kind of saying something that people thought was racist, and you still on Spotify with $100 million deal goes to show you the double standard in this country that we have. Like, you nigga ain't nothing. You say nigga, you make a song, a movie, 12 Years a Slave, The Butler, The Help, whatever, and throw nigga around all you want. Say anything that even seems anti-Semitic or homophobic, you lose everything you got. Y'all tell me. Courtney, what you think about the word nigger?
I mean, just the use of it in the world nowadays, it seems like anybody can say nigger and there's no backlash, But when it comes to you say something about some Jews, you say something about some gays, you say something about somebody trans, oh shit, you done fucked up and you canceled. But you say nigger, niggas, any of that, you might get a bigger deal. Like Joe Rogan, then he just get a whole $100 million deal from
Spotify.
Rumble instead of being on YouTube, or was it from Spotify?
Spotify.
Yeah, and I think somebody else offered him some money. And it's like usually when it comes to white folks and people doing things like that and saying things against Black folks, it's never, oh, you finna be suspended. Oh, you were on your show and you said nigger. No, they're not going to get suspended. But when it comes to us, it just doesn't matter, really. You know what I'm saying? There's no respect. There's no anything else. When it comes to everybody else, oh, yeah, you fuck around and get fired. Goddamn. Remember Nick Cannon said some shit. He down there lost his show, didn't he?
Nick had to come back and say sorry. That he did lose it. First of all, we found out that it ain't his show, and he was fired. Now you fired from your own shit on your day off, right? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Robert Kelly. He said that's his real name too, y'all. So my real name too. Damn it! Shout out to Robert Kelly, man. The definition of a Semite. You know what? The Semite. I did the research on that word one time. It's a term for a group of people from a certain area in the Middle East, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Robert. So when you say anti-Semitic, you're not necessarily saying anti-Jewish. but this is the terminology that they use. It's, I don't know if Jewish people refer to themselves as Semites. I don't know if they do, and I've never heard them say, "Hey, I'm a Semite."
Right.
Right. Yeah, and we look at Whoopi now. Now, Whoopi for a long time. Come on now, Whoopi. Once again, I'm from the '90s. Whoopi was with Ted Danson. Ted Danson came out with the blackface on. Whoopi, ha 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 ha. Goldberg in itself is a Jewish name. Her name ain't Goldberg. It's not her given name.
She
So
said she's Jewish.
well, some apparently somehow, some way. I don't know. And I'm not here to challenge her lineage. I'm just saying, in this country, for as a black person, you can feel like, oh, I'm with them. They like me. I'm part of them. And then you have what they call a nigga moment, where they show you that you're not. Okay. And Whoopi had the recipe a couple years back with the fried chicken, and she called it African American Jewish Princess Fried Chicken. Right. This is and aha. And it's all funny. It's funny, yeah. Now they shut your ass down. So you're having a nigga moment. I don't, so I can't necessarily say, yeah, support Whoopi and put Whoop. You know what? At this point, when you cross a certain amount of lines, I think Ice Cube said it best when he say, you might have a heart attack when you find out the black folks don't want you back. After you done been over there with them, now you want to come back. Now you on BET because your ass suspended from ABC. Nah, we don't want that. We don't want that. He said Whoopi is a Jew. Robert Kelly said she is a Jew. Does it matter at this point? I don't really think it does. You're right, Paris LaShawn. Other groups, everybody says it. And we act so surprised when we find out one of our white celebrities that we like said it. Oh God, he came. Why? Let me tell y'all something. Put a bug under my table. Put a bug under my dinner table. You might be surprised what you hear. That's why I say I don't get all that offended when white people say nigger, because I call them some horrible shit too in the privacy of my own home. Yeah. I say I ain't gonna lie. What the brother who used to call into Outlaw Radio when we was on Blog Talk and say his thing was, he called it good black racism. He'd always say it's good black racism. Black people should be allowed to be racist. So I say, you say nigger, I say hunky. I use that word. I'm sorry. I don't want to upset white people. And not that I give a shit, but because I know that they so loose at home, those people. Well, I don't want to say it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we talk shit about y'all too. Black people shouldn't be so hypocritical. How many white jokes do? We make fun of white people all day, every day. And one of them say it, we go crazy. I do understand that there's a group of people, white supremacists, we're gonna say that word as an indicator that they're about to attack. I got something for that too. And I can tell the difference when they're doing it. When you come for me like that, be prepared to deal with what I give you. But I'm not losing it because you said nigger. You think I'm surprised? I'm not surprised. Miss Ann Floyd said her mouth has always been disrespectful. Whoopi been all over the place, man. Whoopi is not, and she don't need us because she got millions. So if she lost her job today, it wouldn't bother me at all. I'm not upset that Wendy Williams is gone, and Wendy Williams has been just a dysfunctional kind of just shitting on people forever, and like she's getting. Don't get me wrong, I don't wish death upon anyone, and I hate to for somebody to be sick, and they're saying she's had some serious health issues, but you kind of reap what you sow, brother Malcolm.
She wasn't good for the black community anyway. We straight without her. It's
yeah, right. I got to get that Marcus Garvey quote. Everybody can't get on the ship to go. Because some of y'all wasn't no good. What he say? Some of y'all wasn't no good in America, so you ain't gonna be shit in Africa. So
man, I can't even imagine taking some niggas over there, certain niggas to Africa just to fuck it up. No.
Robert Kelly, if you want to call in, we got a few minutes before we get into Courtney's corner and let her talk about her book. If you want to call in, that number's going across the bottom of the screen, and that Cash App is too. Y'all want me to keep upgrading this equipment? I know y'all can understand. Y'all hear these silky vocals. That's because I upgraded everything. I know it looks good because I upgraded everything. Look at the production of it. Look, I got my Quiet Storm voice on. It's Outlaw Radio on a hump day. Hope you got somebody who you love, right?
Oh my God. I just noticed you're not even in the studio. Where you at?
Hey, look, I have an alternative studio now because I told you I had to have back surgery. We talked about that, and stairs wasn't my best friend. So to get downstairs to my studio became a challenge. So I'm looking. I can't wait to get back down there. I feel like such a fish out of water. Now that you pointed that out, I can't wait to get back down there because I'm gonna redo that too. When I get back down there, we're gonna redo the studio. Been built out like that for a minute, but yeah, I'll be in the next couple weeks. I'll be live from the basement like we used to do it. So yeah, that's coming back. But right now, my wife made sure that I can still do what I love to do. So she said, "No, you do it from here. You stay away from them steps. Get your ass in that room and do your little show." Right? That's what women do to us sometimes, right? Like pat you on your head and say, "Now sit your ass down and eat," like a little kid. tuck your napkin in your shirt for you. Sit down. I'm a man. Why she make your ass sit down? That's what women do. That's the power of women, and especially black women, right? Black women make you feel like you're in control. She running every goddamn thing. You depending on it. You depending on her for everything. You don't even know it. Robert Kelly said he loves Africa. He said he can't read the Cash App. It's $ KB7524. Don't make me put it in big letters across the screen. No. You can call in, man. You can call. Anybody that wants to call in can call in. I love the chat room because my chat room is always popping. But you're always welcome to call in as well. I've straightened out my phone issue, so now the phone system is popping. I told you this shit costs money, man. Y'all better donate. Y'all
Make
pay
sure y'all donate to Kev so he can get the Outlaw radio studio at his crib together that nobody gets to come to except for him. Make sure y'all donate to Kev.
It's still tight. It was just my health issues. Like I wasn't messing with no stairs. Like for real. It's a miracle. It's a miracle from God that I'm as mobile as I am right now. I had a piece of my spine taken out. A lot of people don't, and this was early January. This is like January 3rd. So I'm good. I'm a testimony. I'm a walking testimony, right? That's why I tell people. I talk about God in a minute. I tell you about God and Jesus because I laid on that table and they took a part of my spine out and fixed me. So, but we getting back in the studio pretty soon. I'll be down there talking about Jesus too. I'll be down there talking about it. Yes, sir. God is good. He is. I will give him his praise because I laid on that table thinking, Lord, let me get up from here so I can get back home with my babies and my wife and my family and my show. And he blessed me. So yeah, I'm good. And I'm strong enough now. I'm getting to the point where I can get back down the steps and do my show. So we'll be back in the studio. We'll be back in there pretty soon. And once this COVID thing subsides and she say it's okay, people can come back to the studio because she shut that shit down a couple of years ago. Like, don't bring nobody else in this house. You don't know what the hell they got, right? So that shut the studio down. If you want to see us on our YouTube page, you can go back and look. There's over 125 shows on YouTube that I did from the studio, and I had all the politicians from Milwaukee, people, celebrity guests that would come in and be in the studio with us. I stepped away from the politics here because it's garbage. And shout out to Chris Johnson. I'm gonna share his article in the People's News Network about who's controlling the politicians in Milwaukee, the black politicians, Nation Consulting, Working Family Party. Look it up. You don't just vote for somebody blindly. Let's be smart about this one. Let's be smart about this election and vote right. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk about was Biden and his crack pipes. There was a story that came out that said Biden was coming up with a program, and supposedly the interest of this program was to promote healthier lifestyles. And so, there's places where intravenous drug users can go and get needles, right? There's places where prostitutes can go and get condoms. So there was a rumor that they would be handing out clean crack pipes for drug users so that they wouldn't be sharing pipes, spreading COVID, spreading disease. They came out today and said that's not a part of the legislation. Supposedly that was a rumor. So it won't be no government crack pipes given out. I don't know. I'm not a Sleepy Joe fan, but this would have I might have had to vote Republican if and not that I'm a Democrat either, right? But I might have to vote Republican if he started giving out goddamn crack pipes. What is you doing, Joe? You already signed the damn crime bill back in the days. Now you gonna give out crack pipes? That piss me off. So yeah, man, don't believe what you read. Biden ain't giving out crack pipes.
And giving out crack pipes with the mash. Grab a mask and a pipe. Get both. One of each. Yes, get your pipe and your mask.
A mask and a crack pipe, right? and
look, grab two. Grab as many as you need.
Put a whole package together. Put some condoms, put some clean needles, put a crack pipe, put a mask, put all that shit in one bag and just give it out. And just a happy hooker bag, right? You might as well throw 2 for $15 in there. Give them some real crack shit, but you can give me a pipe and no crack. What am I supposed to do with this? You know, I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't get nobody no crack. Don't. Let's get rid of crack. They say Whitney said crack is whack, right?
Crack is whack.
Crack destroyed my community, and we still feeling the fallout effects from the crack epidemic, right?
Like, we still got young people still trying it. Crack ain't over.
You told me that. I didn't believe that. It's young people still trying crack. I thought ain't no more crackheads. Nobody's doing that no more. Courtney put me up on the game and said, "You fool! They still out here." Is it just the one to try it, or what's the draw? Like weed ain't good enough. Hash
Some people
ain't
just be chasing all those different types of highs. Like I have aunts that are on crackheads, and I mean they still crackheads. They 60 in nursing homes, need help, still trying to hit that pipe. You know what I'm saying? Still trying. So
those the OG crackheads.
Those are definitely OGs. But the new people, they're just trying to reach different types of highs, and people just keep trying to reach different heights as far as being high. So
Lord
crack, I guess, heroin, all those things.
Y'all keep your eyes in the sky. I keep telling y'all about UFOs. They coming out now saying these UFOs are real. I got a caller. Caller, you are live on Outlaw Radio. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
This is Robert Kelly, and I'm calling from Chicago.
And your name Robert Kelly, and you calling from Chicago? What's going on, bro?
Yeah, you know what? I'm Robert Kelly Jr. the third.
Okay. Okay.
So try dealing with that every damn day.
I'm just gonna say Junior the third.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's crazy. What's going on, brother? What's on your mind?
No, I was just listening to I kept seeing the links on some of my spaces, some of my pages. So I was just listening. I called in, but and I chimed in kind of late because I got some things I was taking care of.
It's all good.
But you up in Milwaukee, huh?
Yes, sir. All day, every day. 414 for sure.
Oh, so that's just a suburb of Chicago, man. Don't feel bad.
Oh, I know. Chicago, y'all help ruin our city. We know. We close proximity.
Wait a minute. Back up now. Back up now. You're throwing daggers now. Relax now.
We stopped giving y'all. We changed our welfare system. Then y'all was done with us. The damage had been done already.
Honestly, and I've only been to Milwaukee once my whole life.
Okay.
Right. So I've driven through there, and when I was in the Army, when I got out of the Army, came off active duty, we used to go up to Fort McCoy. So I never actually stopped in Milwaukee. I stopped in Milwaukee to drop someone off, and cops pulled me over, and I ain't been back since.
Hey, it's a good place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live here, right?
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. And I just wanted to go ahead and chime in for a minute. I keep listening, brother. I'll call in on what time is your show really on?
So normally what we do is Mondays and Wednesdays we do Outlaw Radio from 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time until whenever I cut the machine off, because I'm unbothered, and I can go all night, so to speak. No, I mean verbally, but it's Mondays and Wednesdays from 7:30 we normally get started, and on Tuesdays I do the Big Black Sports Show, which is a sports show from the perspective of Black men and women, and we tell our story and we give it from our perspective. We don't water it down. So Mondays through Wednesdays, the People's Network is active. You can call in whenever you want, man. I appreciate the support, man. I really do. And if you really want to help, you don't have to hit the Cash App. Just share the show. Share the show as much as you can.
Well, I'm kind of I'm just waiting for a few things right now. During most of last year and the year, almost the last, I feel like 2.5 years, I was living in South America. So I'm getting ready to go back down there next month. So, but I still can go ahead and chime into your show and check you out, man. I got to get out of it. I've been here in Chicago and after being in South America and like 80, 90 degree weather about this time of year, I can't take this no more.
I love South America. I definitely want to relocate to like Colombia. I mean, it might be a little crazy over there, but I like South America. It's wonderful.
Wait, slow down, sister. Hold on now. Now, Colombia, right? I have a 3-bedroom townhouse, 5 bathrooms on a quarter acre, in between like a quarter acre, half acre lot in Hamondi, Colombia. Yo vivo in Colombia.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm going back to my house. I got my my family down there, I was up here to try to take care of some business. I had some relatives pass away. That was why I came back here last year, I think last year. So, but I can't do this. I can't do the snow. No.
Well, I sure enough appreciate your support, my brother, and you feel free to call in and comment as much as you want. Even when you go back to South America, you can still rock with Outlaw Radio and share it down there. Hell, we need all the support we can get.
Yeah. You know, it's a lot of black folks. I let people know too. So I'm gonna go back to going ahead smoking my weed and drinking. Thanks for having me, Carl.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, man.
You too.
All right.
Peace.
All right, my brother. Man, I always appreciate, I love the fact that we can reach people all over the place. So if you out there listening, no matter, I know Paris LaShawn is in Denver. Shout out to Shabaka. I'm always on with Shabaka St. Cour, who's in California. I've had a lot of West Coast artists on here. I've had people from Atlanta. Just the internet makes the world a lot smaller, man. So I appreciate the support. Now let's get into this Courtney's Corner. Let Courtney talk about her book this week, what she's reading, and let's talk about the book. Courtney, the floor is yours.
I feel like I need like a little dream sequence to come across the screen when I'm finna, like some hearts, things like that. When I'm finna tell the book. So the book this week is The Science of Self, and this is by Supreme Understanding. So this is a book about yourself as far as Black folks, you know, from genetics to how the universe was created, self-creation of the universe is Black, down to the book of genetics, down to just everything Black and dealing with Black folks. So the Science of Self by Supreme Understanding. You can get this on Amazon. I mean, you can Google it and find it, but it's kind of easy to find stuff on Amazon. But yeah, if you would like to find more information just about yourself as who we are and where we came from and how we created in our universe and just things dealing with us, and it's Black History Month, you know, so The Science of Self.
There you go.
That was it.
Look, it is Black History Month. It is Black History Month, and a lot of people waste time arguing about whether or not we should have 1 month or whatever. Other people say Black history is American history, no doubt. First of all, Black people, in my opinion, are the only true Americans. We're the only group of people, the only race that was created by this country. People tell us all the time, you don't like it, go back where you came from. No, you go back where you came from. I believe you said you're German, right? Kick rocks, go back to Germany. You said you're French, that means you're from France. I'm Black. My family came from Mississippi, right? Because you made sure that I didn't know where we came from otherwise. And you dived in and out of our gene pool because you couldn't keep your hands off our sisters. You was in and out of there. And we know about the white woman and Mandingo or whatnot. So y'all, we are a production. We are a product of America as Black people. So yes, Black history is entirely American history, no doubt. But unfortunately, it wasn't taught like it should be. I know I went to school in the 80s and they didn't give us the entire scope of the magnitude of Black history. And so, like I said, my mom did a great job of making sure that I knew about Black history in its entirety. But a lot of us don't have that. As a matter of fact, there's an attack on Black intellectualism as we speak, and they're doing it under the disguise of saying, well, we don't like critical race theory because we don't want you to revision history. We don't want to talk about how things really were. It makes Black people look like victims. It makes white people seem like they're superior. All that's bullshit. The truth is the truth is the truth. If it looked like a duck, if it walked like a duck, if it quacked like a duck, it's probably a pigeon trying to get over on you. I'm joking. It's a duck, right? So it's Black History Month, but Black History Month can be all year depending on the way you live your life. Now, that book you just had, you said it was say the name of it again, Courtney?
The Science of Self.
Now, does that book talk about supreme mathematics? Is that a 5%? Is that written from a 5% perspective, or?
Well, his name is Supreme Understanding. So it has
What is
science, you know, the laws of nature, know thyself, self-creation of the universe, the book of genetics, the original man and nature, and
okay. So it sounds like a book that has a lot of 5% sensibilities. I've always been intrigued by the supreme mathematics, and if you talk to a 5%er, they talk about the science of the day, and it's based on numbers. I'm not an expert on it, but you can get into it. So we talk about knowledge of self, which is always a good thing for people of color. Man, I had so much fun tonight with y'all. I don't want to get off, but I have to. I gotta let some of y'all gotta go to work in the morning, right? Some of y'all got right. So, but I appreciate your support, man. And I want you to understand that I'm not trying to tell you what to think. I'm opinionated. Courtney's opinionated. We all are opinionated. But my thing is just to give you the information and you make your own decision. As long as you make an informed decision, you all right with me. Robert Kelly said his family traced to certain areas in Africa. They have relationships with people from those areas. He said he's an African living in America, and while in Colombia, he lives with Afro-Colombians. Some of us can trace it that way. I'm not able to, and I don't trust Ancestry.com to tell me that, right? So I say my family we're Black Americans. That's what we are. And I'm not, people say leave. I'm not leaving. I ain't going nowhere. You're gonna do the right thing by me. You're gonna give me what I deserve, right? Or I'm gonna take it, and I'm not leaving you no other choice. James Brown said, "Don't give me nothing. Just leave the door up, or I'll come in and get it myself." All right, man, it's time for us to go. I want y'all all to understand that you need to believe and trust in the 6 degrees of separation theory, which means we're all related one way or another. In Milwaukee, I can find you if I need to. Your cousin know my cousin who know your cousin who auntie used to live around the corner from my uncle, right? It's always a way to find who I need to find in this city. But I say that to say we need to be one. We are one nation. I'm Black, you're Black. Anytime you dismiss what's going on in the community, it's going to come to bite you in your ass. When you look at this violence, this hyper violence in our city, and you say it ain't me, it's going to be somebody you know. It's going to be a family member. It's going to inch closer and closer to you until it gets to you. This is why we all have to take a role in our community and say we got to do better. I have personally committed to reinvest in mentorship, which I've done for a very long time with young men. I'm gonna go back to coaching. When my back get better, I'm going back to football coaching because I need to get back out here on the front lines with these young men and start trying to send them in positive directions, man. Once again, I want to say rest in peace to the little brother Mo, Mike Jones Jr. Much love, man. I can't even explain how I feel. And to lose Edan Carson and then lose Mo this week, and it's depressing for me. And I'm hoping and I'm praying for all those young men that I've mentored or played for me over the years. I hope that they get to enjoy their lives and they can escape this cycle of violence in our city because it is fucking ridiculous and it's inexcusable. And if you a Black man out there right now and you feel like you need to solve your problems with a gun, you ain't no killer. You's a coward, right? If you can't put your hands up and defend yourself, you need to get a gun. He's a coward. If she broke up with you and you think, hey, I can't have you, can't nobody have you, and you gonna kill her, you a coward. We can say it's a mental health thing, but it's a lot of coward in you as well. Put the damn guns down. You got a problem? See that man head up, face to face. Stop all this jumping shit. Let's get back to the point where we threw him from the shoulders, toe to toe in the middle of the street. You lose. But like my man said in Friday, you live another day to fight again. Understand, either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution, right? In the words of Willie D, if your criticism of the Black community outweighs your contribution, your ass is a coon. I'll see y'all next Monday for Outlaw Radio. Peace and love.